Listen carefully, because this message is not random and it's not for everyone. Before you scroll, before you doubt, stay with me, because what I'm about to say explains why this person crossed your path. If this resonates, subscribe now, like this video, and comment, "I'm listening," because later I'll reveal the one sign that proves this connection is not accidental. This person fell in love with you, even with the age difference, and that detail is not a mistake. You may have tried to explain it away with logic. You may have told yourself it's just admiration, timing, or coincidence. But deep inside, something felt heavier, deeper, almost sacred. Here's what most people don't understand. God does not measure love the way humans do. Humans count years. God counts purpose. The age gap is not the story. The awakening is. You weren't brought into this connection to be comfortable. Aware. And awareness often arrives disguised as confusion. You asked yourself, why me? You wondered, why now? You questioned whether this could even be right. That inner resistance you feel is not rejection. It's a transformation knocking at the door. This person didn't fall in love with your age. They fell in love with your spirit. They recognized something in you that reminded them of truth, safety, or home. And before you dismiss that, understand this: the soul does not age. The soul remembers. Some connections happen because two souls are at the same stage of growth, even if the bodies are not. And when that alignment happens, it disrupts everything you thought you knew about love. You're not imagining the intensity. You're not exaggerating the pull, and you're not wrong for questioning it. God often uses unconventional connections to break old patterns. Patterns of fear, limitation, patterns of choosing what looks right instead of what feels true. This connection is not asking you to rush. It's asking you to listen. Listen to the way your heart becomes quiet when you think of them. Listen to how your spirit feels seen, not impressed. Listen to the growth that started the moment they entered your life. That's not infatuation. That's alignment. And here's where many people get it wrong. They think love must look socially acceptable to be spiritually approved. But God has never worked that way. God works through obedience, not opinion. There's a reason this person doesn't drain you. There's a reason conversations with them feel timeless. There's a reason you don't feel smaller around them. Love that comes from God expands you, even when it challenges you. The age difference is only highlighting something deeper. One of you carries wisdom, courage. Together, there is balance. This is not about control. This is not about dependency. This is not about saving each other. This is about recognition. Recognition of value. Recognition of truth. Recognition of something familiar that can't be explained with facts. You were not chosen randomly. You were chosen because your spirit could handle this connection without losing itself. And yes, you may feel afraid. Fear often shows up when something matters. But fear is not a warning. It's a signal that you are stepping outside old limits. Here's the verse you need to hear right now. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. That line is not asking you to ignore wisdom. It's asking you to stop letting fear pretend to be wisdom. Because wisdom doesn't feel rushed. Wisdom doesn't feel chaotic. Wisdom feels grounded, unfamiliar. Ask yourself this honestly. Does this connection pull you closer to your true self, or further away? If it brings clarity instead of confusion over time, that is not accidental. If it encourages growth instead of hiding, that is not temptation. Some of you are realizing something important right now. This connection didn't come to replace your life, it came to reveal it. And here's the part most people won't tell you. Not every God-sent connection is meant to last forever in form. Some are meant to last forever in impact. The love you're feeling may not be about possession. It may be about preparation. Preparation for healthier love. Preparation for deeper boundaries. Preparation for knowing your worth without asking permission. That's why the timing feels strange. That's why the age difference stands out. It forces you to look beyond appearances and into intention. Sees you in a way others didn't. Not because they are perfect, but because they are present. Presence is rare. And when it appears, it changes you. You don't need to label this connection yet. You don't need to explain it to anyone. You don't need to defend what hasn't even fully unfolded. God reveals clarity in steps, not all at once. If you're feeling called to slow down, slow down. If you're feeling called to reflect, reflect. If you're feeling called to pray, pray. But don't ignore the pull just because it doesn't fit a familiar box. Love that comes from God does not come to confuse you. It comes to align you. And alignment sometimes feels uncomfortable before it feels peaceful. Now here's the mini cliffhanger I promised earlier. There is one clear sign that tells you whether this connection is meant to grow or simply teach. And it has nothing to do with age, distance, or labels. Do both of you grow closer to God individually because of this connection? Not closer to each other alone, but closer to the truth, closer to integrity, closer to humility. If the answer is yes, then this love is not a distraction, it's a direction. And if the answer is no, then the lesson is still sacred. Either way, you are not wrong for feeling what you feel. You are not foolish for questioning it. And you are not alone in this experience. God does not shame love. God shapes it. Let this message settle in your spirit, not your fear, not other people's opinions, your spirit. If this spoke directly to you, comment, "I understand now." And remember, what is meant for you will never require you to betray your soul to receive it. Stay with me, because what I'm about to say next is where many people finally understand why this connection feels so different. Some of you keep asking God for a clear sign, but you're ignoring the quiet confirmations already happening. The way your patience has grown, the way your reactions have softened, the way you no longer chase validation the way you used to. That didn't happen by accident. This connection didn't enter your life loudly, it entered subtly. And that's how divine alignment often works. If you feel seen without performing, comment, "I feel seen." If you feel challenged but not diminished, comment, "I am growing." You see, attraction fades when it's built on the surface, but resonance deepens when it's built on purpose. And what you're experiencing is resonance. That's why silence with this person doesn't feel awkward. That's why distance doesn't erase the bond. That's why time doesn't weaken the respect. This is not an obsession. This is recognition. Many of you have been conditioned to believe love must come with chaos to be real. But God's love does not come with anxiety. It comes with clarity over time. Even when the emotions are strong, there is an inner steadiness. Even when you feel unsure, you feel protected. That's the difference. If this connection has made you more honest with yourself, comment, "I'm being real." If it has made you more patient instead of impulsive, comment, "I'm learning." Here's something important you need to hear. The enemy uses confusion. God uses peace that grows slowly. That's why discernment matters more than excitement. Some of you are realizing that this person mirrors parts of you that were dormant. Your kindness, your depth, your ability to listen without fixing. Mirrors can feel confronting, but they are also healing. This connection may not follow the timeline others expect, but it follows the alignment your soul recognizes. And listen closely now. You are not required to explain divine timing to people who only understand convenience. If you've stopped oversharing about this connection, comment, "I'm protecting my peace." If you felt guided to keep this sacred and quiet, comment, "This is private." God often hides blessings in silence, so they can mature without interference. There is a verse that speaks directly to this moment. Everything beautiful in its time. That verse is not about delay, it's about readiness. Some of you were not ready before, and now something within you is. That's why this connection arrived when it did. Not earlier, not later, but now. Whether this love stays, transforms, or teaches, it has already fulfilled one purpose. It woke you up. You no longer settle the same. You no longer shrink the same. You no longer ignore red flags or dismiss green ones. That is growth. If you feel like this experience raised your standards, comment, "I know my worth." If you feel more grounded in who you are, comment, "I'm aligned." Remember this. Love sent by God never competes with your destiny, it supports it. And if you're still unsure, that's okay. Faith does not mean certainty. It means trust while clarity unfolds. You are being guided. You are being refined. Prepared for love that honors both truth and timing. Stay present. Stay prayerful. And most of all, stay honest with yourself. If this message spoke to you deeply, comment, "I trust God's timing." Now listen closely, because this next part is where many hearts either open or retreat. There is a reason this connection did not overwhelm you at the start. God does not rush what must last in meaning. He allows it to unfold, layer by layer, so fear cannot sabotage it too early. Some of you notice that this person did not try to impress you. They didn't chase you aggressively. They didn't force emotions. They simply showed up consistently. That consistency is the language of mature love. If you felt calm instead of anxious, comment, "This feels different." If you felt respected instead of rushed, comment, "I feel safe." Here is something most people miss. When God sends a connection, it doesn't pull you away from your responsibilities. It strengthens your discipline. It sharpens your discernment. It teaches you restraint, not impulse. Ask yourself this: did you become more patient after meeting them? Did you become more self-aware? Did you stop entertaining meaningless distractions? Those are signs of alignment. Some of you are afraid because this connection doesn't fit the narrative you imagined. You thought love would look louder. You thought it would arrive more dramatically. But instead, it arrived quietly and steadily. That's not disappointment. That's maturity. If this connection didn't confuse your values, comment, "My values are intact." If it didn't make you betray your principles, comment, "I stayed true." There's a reason the age difference keeps coming to your mind. It forces you to ask deeper questions. Not "how does this look?" but "how does this feel in truth?" God often uses contrast to teach clarity. This is not about proving anything to anyone. This is about honoring what God is revealing to you personally. Here is the verse meant for this exact moment. The Lord directs the steps of the godly. He delights in every detail of their lives. That means even this connection, even this timing, even this difference, nothing about this is overlooked. Some of you needed this experience to heal old wounds, to relearn trust, to understand that love doesn't have to hurt to be real. And others needed it to learn boundaries, to slow down, to stop confusing chemistry with destiny. Both lessons are holy. If this connection taught you something about yourself, comment, "I learned." If it helped you heal something old, comment, "I'm healing." You don't need to force an outcome. What is guided does not need pressure. God will never rush you into confusion, and He will never keep you stuck in stagnation. Pay attention to peace. Peace is the confirmation. If you felt peace more than chaos, comment, "I choose peace." If you felt clarity growing over time, comment, "Clarity is coming." Remember this as you move forward. Love that comes from God does not distract you from your purpose. It aligns with it. Whether this connection stays in your life or transforms into a lesson, it has already served a divine role. It awakened discernment. It refined desire. It reminded you that love can be intentional. Stay grounded, stay prayerful, and trust that what is meant for you will never ask you to abandon who you are to receive it. If you're choosing to trust God with this connection, comment, "I trust the process." Stay here, because what you're feeling right now is not confusion, it's revelation settling in slowly. Some of you are realizing that this connection didn't arrive to take something from you. It arrived to return something to you. Your faith, your patience, your ability to feel without losing control. That's why even when you don't talk, the connection doesn't feel broken. That's why space doesn't feel like abandonment. That's why silence still feels respectful. This is not emotional hunger. This is emotional maturity being activated. If you've stopped forcing conversations, comment, "I let it flow." If you stopped chasing reassurance, comment, I'm secure. You're learning something powerful. Real love does not need to prove itself daily. It reveals itself steadily. Some of you noticed that your prayers changed after this person entered your life. You stopped asking God to fix others. You started asking God to refine you. That shift is not small. That shift is spiritual growth. And here's the truth many people avoid. God sometimes allows age differences so ego cannot dominate the connection. One learns humility, the other learns patience. Both learn respect. If this connection humbled you, comment, I'm humbled. Comment, I'm learning patience. You were not meant to lose yourself here. You were meant to meet yourself more honestly. That's why you're more aware of your triggers. That's why you pause before reacting. That's why you no longer confuse intensity with intimacy. This is what refinement feels like. Some of you are worried about the future, about how this ends, about what it becomes, but listen carefully. God never asks you to live in the future. He asks you to obey in the present. And right now, obedience looks like discernment, not decisions. Here is the verse meant to anchor you now. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness is not passivity. It's trust without panic. If you've stopped trying to control the outcome, comment, I release control. If you're choosing peace over pressure, comment, I choose trust. Whatever this connection becomes, it will not rob you, break you. It will not confuse you forever. God does not tease the heart. He trains it. And you are being trained to recognize love that honors God, not just emotion. So breathe, stay grounded, and remember, when something is guided, clarity always arrives at the right time. If you're staying open but grounded, comment, I'm staying grounded. If you trust God is working even now, comment, God is working.